Hello, here I am again. I sit here by myself so much of the time that it gives me a lot of one-on-one time with God. And boy, have I been bending his ear lately and asking him how much longer, because I didn't think I'd be here when the world got this bad. I know what's coming because I've been studying end-time prophecy for almost 40 years. When I came to God, I came to him begging to know the truth, begging to know what life was actually about. And then I started studying. I started reading. I changed so much, but really I didn't change. I just went back to who I was. And that brings me kind of full circle to what I want to talk about, which is the curse of original sin. Unfortunately, most churches teach that mankind is under the curse of original sin, that we are born in sin, and that we are sinful by nature. And I just don't see that's what the Bible teaches. That may have been true back before the death and resurrection of Jesus, but the Bible says that what Jesus did more than undid what Adam did. And what Adam did was take all of mankind into sin by disobeying and lying to God. And if he took all men into sin, then what Jesus did brought all men out of sin. So when God wiped the slate, when Jesus died on the cross, all sins were forgiven. Past, present, future, everybody. A child does not come in with the sin nature. That was taken away at the cross. A child comes in pure. The Bible tells us that we must become as little children. And it also says that children are precious in God's sight. You know, they're his. From the time of conception until they're no longer children, they're innocent and pure and are supposed to be protected. And it talks very badly about people who would seek to harm them. They're precious. They're not sinful. They're not sinful little creatures that God just gives them a break until they reach the age of accountability, and then all of a sudden every mark counts against them. That's not how that works. Original sin has us doomed for hell until we do something. When you take out original sin and learn that in reality that all mankind was saved at the cross, and it's what we do from that point on that damns us. We're not damned from the beginning and then we fix ourselves. That's not how it works. Our choices in life, our free will, our disobedience and walking away from God is what separates us from God. He don't go nowhere, we do. And we're saved until our names are blotted out of the book of life. Any name that has been written in the book of life from the very beginning, the names were written there. if that gets blotted out, it ain't getting written back in. You know, it's out. And it's only those who have their names written out of, or blotted out of the book of life that aren't saved. Anybody written in the book, whose name is written in the book of life, is saved. That's the struggle here in this world, is to not let our names get blotted out of the book of life, to not reject what is right, the truth, what is good, God. You know, when you accept those things, when you embrace those things, that's what keeps your name written in the book of life, not something we do in some religious practice. It's from the heart. It's not from the mind or the mouth. It's not religion. It's a connection that we start out from the very beginning with. It's the Christ in us, the hope of glory. And if we embrace that Christ, then we'll move into glory with him. If we reject that Christ, then do it too much and your name will be blotted out of the book of life, and there's no coming back from that. God wouldn't have blotted you out if he thought you were going to come back. Because if he knew you were going to come back, he's not going to sit there and write you in, blot you out, write you in, blot you out. You're blotted out, you're gone. So our free will, our conscience, which is the Christ in us, tries to get our free will to do the good and the righteous and the truth. And when we reject that, then that starts dying inside of us. It starts becoming a smaller and smaller voice until it's a still, soundless voice. And then you're on your own. It's there in everybody. It's put in everybody from their conception, and it's either nurtured or smothered. If it's nurtured, it grows and it's good. If it smothers, it doesn't grow and it becomes dormant and it's no good anymore. But it's our choice. God put it there in the beginning. That's the Christ in us. That's a piece of God that we get at conception. We couldn't get it. We would not become life without it. It is life. Jesus is life. If we have life, we have Jesus. That's what the Bible says. I'm not making this stuff up. That's what the Bible says. I believe it. You could believe it if you want to. That's between you and him. But Jesus is life. So as long as you have life, you have Jesus. And that's where you're supposed to look. You're not supposed to look around and see all the deception and delusion and the little pretties here and there to distract you and get you caught up in the world. You're supposed to look for Jesus. And when you do that, he will communicate with you. He will let you know right from wrong. He will give you the answers you need. But he won't force himself on you. He won't grow without you letting a little light and truth in there. Give it some nourishment, and like a plant, and it will grow. The Christ in you. And I'm not being new age about this, trying to say you're Christ. No. That's your connection with God, is through Christ. And the Bible says it's Christ in you. The hope of glory. That's the gospel. It's not all the things that the churches try to say it is. It's Christ in you, the hope of glory. Choose him, you get glory. Reject him, and you're on your own.